Hi, everybody. As as Echo just said, my name is Silent Martyr. I'm going to be showing you New Game Plus on Chrono Trigger. I'm playing this on the original hardware on the Super Nintendo. I'll be running the Japanese version as it's a little bit faster, with the text boxes going a little bit quicker. Other than that, it would be the same if I did English. I'm gonna do a little explaining before I get started because this is a very quick run, like 7, maybe 8 minutes if I get off RNG. Um, I'm gonna wait at the beginning in the load screen for a very specific amount of time, and this is gonna set the RNG for the entire run. So you're gonna hear me doing nothing while I'm sitting in that menu, and I'm actually gonna be moving the keys to the beat. I have a metronome image that I'm gonna be using to count the beats that I need. It's how we manipulate every RNG in not only New Game Plus, but any of the glitched runs for Chrono Trigger on the Super Nintendo. So timer won't start right away. We start our timer when we actually gain control of Chrono at the beginning of the game, not when we actually start. So I'll let you know when to start the timer, but it won't be right away. So with that, let's just jump right in and I'll explain everything else as we go. Okay. We're going to press wait and then just press start through the naming. It runs fast enough that we don't need to rename anybody for character quickness or anything like that. The beginning of the run is pretty simple. We're just going to run into Marl. We're skipping everything else. We're going to mash through all the text. Not a lot going on right away. But once we get Marl in the party, we're going to do a quick menu. As I said, this is New Game Plus. So we have a curated file that is already made that we picked specifically. The items, the stats, everything going on is picked specifically to do this run exactly. So we're going to equip Chrono with the Rainbow, the Haste Helm, Nova Armor, and Prism Specs, and we're just going to equip Marl with the Prism Helm. This will protect her status effect so that she won't get poisoned or chaos or anything like that. You can start the timer now. And then again, we're just going to try and mash through these naming screens as fast as possible. If I'm perfect, we actually will get a black screen and will not see the naming at all. That's the fastest possible. But that's pretty frame specific and isn't completely necessary. It's more if you're trying to go for, you know, world record kind of stuff. So as I said, we bump into Marl here. Now we want to stop her on Chrono's body. This will allow us a better lineup here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to miss actually is what I'm going to do. That's okay. If I had gotten her correctly, you can actually talk to Marl when Chrono's lying down there and she'll stay there and it'll make it so that your exit down to the lower level of the fair is a little quicker. Again, we're only doing 7 minutes, so all these little things add up. So let's do this menu real quick. And then I'm going to do this candy skip, or I'm going to try it. And it involves getting around this specific barrier. And there we go. That allows us to just skip that whole conversation where Marl wants ice cream. It's actually very tough to do, so I'm pretty psyched that we got it. Okay, so here we're going to set the battle speed to 2 and set the cursor battle to memory. We'll do that so that we'll remember what's going on. Lavos Shell's pretty simple. We're just going to do Luminaire at the same time that Lavos does its Rains from Heaven's attack. 499 the damage on Marl. We use damage in this game to determine if we're on or off RNG. So we're off RNG here, but we're on a favorable off RNG track. So we won't lose a ton of time, and we'll be able to do everything as per the script. It'll just tilt Lavos, a couple of later forms will get it. So Ice Sword 2 there will finish off the shell, and easy peasy. So we're gonna go in here and we're gonna have we're gonna try and go into the menu again, but we don't need to be in the menu. But if we had done it, the timing on it is very specific. It has to be when the screen's exactly black. You can press the menu button and it will go in. And if we immediately exit it, it's actually faster than letting the game load you into the zone. But again, doesn't affect RNG or anything like that. This is just very simple time save stuff for like world record type paces. But we're going a good pace right now. So this is going to be we want to get 2 Luminaires in before Lavos's arms are able to attack. So it does its Doors of Doom attack, and we want to Luminaire at the same time. And since everybody's stats are like level 99 max stats, like even that very powerful attack Marl can take with just the helmet. So there's one. And we snuck the other one in. Okay, cool. Marl can die if she gets hit by both the hand attacks. So that's why it's important that we take care of the arms before it can get its second attack in. And then this chaos attack is why we want Marl equipped with the helmet. This will protect her from getting chaos, because we actually do need her. She's very important to the run, as she's our item queen. As she's going to give Chrono a hyper ether here, which will restore his MP. Because Chrono's doing the heavy lifting, and Marl's basically the assist. So we're just going to smash through some Luminaires here. When we get one more Luminaire in, normally if we were on script, we would do an Ice 2 attack with Marl. But because we're off script, the damage is going to be just a bit lower than it needs to be. So what we'll do instead is Chrono's base attack with the rainbow will crit for about 1500. Marl's ice would do about 1100, and that difference is actually enough to matter. So instead of wasting the time doing an ice attack and then having to do a secondary attack, we're just going to wait until Chrono gets his next turn and do the attack. Clear the middle phase, and then head on to the final phase. And again, a little bit from now, we're going to try to do another menu skip where we try to activate the menu and then immediately cancel it to avoid a longer load into the next fight. And for the final part of the speed run, we're going to have the traditional fight with Lavos, where the right bit is the main damage taker. So we want to start by dropping its defense. We're going to do that by having Chrono use Confuse on the left bit, killing it, and then we're going to attack the right bit with Marl to get it to drop its defense a little bit faster. So because we do this, it'll drop its defense before Chrono gets his next turn, which is what it's doing right now. And then as the center bit is changing the timeline, or the era, you saw the Millennial Fair in the background there. We're going to do another Luminaire in tune with that, and then we should be able to bang one more out, and then give Chrono another Hyper Ether. This will take out the center bit, leaving the right bit only left. We need to do 30,000 damage to the right bit to kill it. So we're going to do 3 more Luminaires, and that should do it. If we're slow, the right bit will revive the other 2 bits, but because it's the final damage on the right bit, it actually just will kill everything off, because the right bit is the one that can't be revived. And the timer will stop when damage reaches the high point on the right bit. And we got it in before, so that's really cool. It's kind of tough on the 499 to get it every time. And that's going to be time. And GG's. There it is. So that's it. It's a very flashing lights warning for anybody that has epileptic issues is about to happen here. So watch out for that. But that's actually a very, very tight run. Other than the RNG being off, that was perfect. We got Candy Skip, which is very difficult to do. I didn't get a full chance to explain it, but basically, the game has a floor trigger on those steps. But if you move in an exact way, you can move around that trigger and thus get Chrono into the load zone for the next room before it actually triggers Marl pulling you back to get the ice cream. And that's what we do to get around that because it's a pretty sizable time loss if you do that. It's like 15-ish seconds. And then now we're here. This is the developer's ending. This is the hardest ending to get in the game. I'm not going to go through it because it's all in Japanese, and most of us will probably not understand any of it. But that's going to do it. Um, I want to thank everybody for hanging out, and I want to thank everybody involved with the marathon for allowing me to showcase this game and do it for a great cause. Uh, Donations are always helpful and welcome. But yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Silent Martin. That's that was a very interesting speed run. Love that. Brilliant stuff.
Oh yeah, very quick. It's a great run if you ever want to get into Chrono Trigger speedrunning. This run can only be done on the Super Nintendo version, as later versions have had the candy skip taken out, so it's going to be a little bit slower. You could still do it for sure, but it's going to be a little bit different because you won't be able to manipulate the RNG. But this is the run that I learned when I first got into running Chrono Trigger, and it's totally recommended. It's super quick, so you don't have time constraints, and it's fairly easy to pick up, and it takes a lot of time to master. So, definite recommend for anybody who's curious or on the fence about it.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, that's brilliant.
Thank you.
We do have a donation that came in during the Chrono Trigger run. It's $1 from Green Day hater who says, "Hey, um, I don't know why they hate Green Day, but hey."